Sup?
Why?
Is that a picture of Digi?
Oh, I guess I'll change it to some... I don't know, I felt like I needed an anime picture. You know what? Fuck it,
I should probably change mine away from horse.
No, if you want it as a horse, it's going to be on a horse channel. I just didn't want to scare the guy and be like, he's like, oh, you're one of them filthy bronies. And I'm like, yeah?
Yeah, I'll just change it to the dog.
I just grabbed some random asshole off of fucking Twitter who did a video on why anime review is completely worthless, and I got done arguing. He's like, I need co-hosts. He's like, I don't want to do it. And I was like, I got 1,700 subs. He's like, I suddenly feel better.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Joseph? This is Cider from CR Pub Call. I'm FNGR.
Nice to meet you.
G'day, how's it going?
This
pretty good. This
man's had Digi as his co-host for fucking ever. If you know who that is.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love Digi, man. So thank you for this opportunity. This is
no, that's no problem.
It's pretty cool.
Well, thinking why he tweeted your shit out, and I was about to say, I'm gonna go argue with you. I was like, oh crap, I need co-hosts.
Yeah, that got me by surprise too. I was like, whoa, what just happened?
I've done that. I've literally went to go pick a fight with somebody once, and like not only did I fail at picking a fight, I ended up patroning them $1, and then they came on as a guest. Well, I fucked that up pretty bad.
I don't know, man. That's some grade A trolling on my book.
I guess.
I try to start fights with people, and they just call me out on it. They're like, "Yeah, all right." I apologize.
I'm pretty good at this.
I am so sorry.
No.
Imagine how the fight goes. It's like, yeah, well, that hat looks cool. What? I'm sorry, this is my first time picking a fight on the internet.
It's like, wow, man, thanks. That was really sweet.
Literally everybody I was supposed to have for co-hosts. My friend who's damn near homeless finally got a job, so he can't podcast right now. That's the Burning Donut. My girlfriend is off watching an early screening of Civil Wars.
Ooh.
I think Sheldon just blew me off because he's a cuck.
Seems like something he'd do.
Oh no, he looked at Animerica, he's like, oh my god, he acts just like Spoonie. I have to be on this. I was like, yeah! Who's Spoonie? He's like, I'll handle that part. You don't have to research it at all. It blows me off. I'm like, you fucking cuck.
Also, again, I want to apologize. I'm kind of sick, so if I sound like I'm dying, don't worry about me. Just keep it going.
I've had people way worse than you. Don't worry about it.
Oh, thank God. This whole time I was like, I need to take like Adderall or something. Don't worry, though. I didn't. I'm cool. I'm chilling.
Yeah, you sound cool. The one that I remember that went completely failed entirely is that one where Anime Snob didn't show up. And then I found out literally everybody who did show up was going to kick the shit out of him when he did. Which we're not going to do tonight.
Who was going to get the shit kicked out of him?
We were talking about my podcast that fell through with that Anime Snob. And how my co-host said, oh, that's good, because when he showed up, we were all just going to lay into him. I'm like, no, you're not. So let me at least do the intro here. This is FNGR welcoming you to LImbo Podcast, joined by the following co-hosts, Cider from CR Pub Crawl. Pub Crawl! Alright, never mind.
Cider from CR Pub Crawl and Pub Crawl?
No.
Is that a coincidence?
It used to have a radio station that they dropped off, so it's just Pub Crawl. Joseph, what's your, it's Johkerr is a podcast channel?
Yep, that's Johkerr.
Woo, I know. Screwed that up so bad.
It's alright, man. I do it all the time, and I chose that name, so.
Oh, no problem. And Will Ryan from Animerica.
Yep, that's me.
Beautiful.
Big thumbs up hello to everyone.
Fantastic. Well, I was only going to ask this because
Have you ever greeted someone with a thumbs up? It's not a good idea. It looks weird.
I noticed Cider here made the remark about, he's like, oh, you're having him on just because of the elections or something like that. Are you a big patriot or something?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
See, that's why I wasn't going to ask that
the
question.
name, of course.
Where did we get that idea?
Because it's Animerica. Like, America's in the name. I just assumed. I made the connection there.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, not particularly. No, I went with Animerica because vein of what we do is we only review anime that have been localized here in the United States. Because
that's cool.
The idea being there that if someone sees something we review and they like it, they can go out and get it. They don't have to, like, stream it or pirate it or import it and get a DVD player that's region free or some nonsense. That's where the name comes from.
So that's really cool.
You've had your anime channel since 2013, and you've done videos back as far as 2 years. Have you had any previous channels?
We used to be on Blip. We actually got started in 2012 there, and then I started slowly moving videos over to YouTube, and then about a year and a half ago, started very rapidly moving videos over to YouTube as Blip shut down. Yeah, everything. That's the road that got us here.
One of my peers who, for whatever reason, couldn't be here said that your style sort of reminded him of Spoonie. What other inspirations do you draw from for your work?
That's assuming I draw inspiration from Spoonie.
No, I mentioned early on, or I saw one of your earlier videos. You were like, "Oh, it's sort of you took some inspiration from that guy with the glasses," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, a bit. Early on, just because that's kind of all there was for the community, and I watched a lot of those videos back then. It was like, all right, I tried not, but at that point, that like informed, I guess, like the style of what we do, where it's a bit more conventional, the way the reviews, I guess, are formatted and edited together. But as far as inspirations, God, it's hard to say. There are other comedy reviewers that I like. I like JonTron, but I don't try to imitate what he does. He's got his own very unique situation going on. I still like a few of the producers on That Guy with the Glasses. I still watch some stuff there.
Well, I was going to give you an example that was going to shoot my foot off here, and I was like, well, just because you take inspiration doesn't mean you're plagiarized. Batman, for example, takes its inspiration from the Oh, wait, that did plagiarize.
Zorro, right? The one reviewer who I still watch, who I think has always been hilarious, who nobody else probably does, is Phelan Porteous. His like sense of humor and the way and like how he does his videos is very unique. It always has been. It's hilarious to me, even when they're not that funny. They're just hilarious.
Could you? You don't have to do it now. Throw me a link. I'll make sure when I'm doing the timestamps of the video, I'll include it.
I'm gonna give a plug for his site.
Well, you know. I'm trying to gauge the system to get the related tag so it shows up on his side there. I'm going to edit that part out, obviously, where I mentioned that.
He used to be on Channel Awesome a while ago. Now he's on his own site. He's makes a lot of weird content. A lot of like he tracks down like really obscure knockoff toys and talks about them. Basically bootleg toys from like China and Japan and India and all this jazz. His best stuff was movies, and he has some really good ones of just really obscure animated garbage and horror movies and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I don't think he needs any help from me. He's got like 35,000 subscribers on YouTube at the moment.
The whole idea is that when I get people to look at the podcast, I like to give people an idea. The reason they tune in is still like, oh, I didn't know about this, even though it's yeah.
He's at Phelous.com, just Phelous.
Oh, that'll be more than fine here. Do you bother with any other anime-related channels at all?
Bother?
Well, I don't know.
Hey, you know, like when you wake up in the morning, do you just think, oh, I guess I can deign these channels?
Yeah, you scan through, you look through about 5 of them. Yeah, there's still crap. I'm the best.
No, I don't do that. Especially that last one. I really don't. And it's not what he said. It's not like a superiority thing. It's that specifically within the field of anime reviewing, I really, really don't want to cannibalize other people's stuff and the way they do it. I'm extremely like phobic of doing that, even without realizing it. And so I really stay away from what other anime reviewers do. I really don't. I mean, I see what they do. I don't absorb too much of their content because I don't want to become too much like what they do. I've been very intentional in creating our own style.
You do a fine job. I wouldn't tell you how to do your work.
Thank you. But that's the only reason why. Terrified of becoming a knockoff unintentionally.
Oh, it's perfect all right here. Any animes or maybe specific companies that hit you over the head with the copyright strict stick? Kadokawa, Japan. They and more recently, shockingly, Bandai. Bandai jettisoned all of their like localized titles, Bandai of America, but Bandai of Japan is just hammering down on everything, and like not even in a way that is particularly grotesque. It's just like they are just claiming copyright for everything. It's like everything they own. And it's like, well, you're in Japan. Like, come on. And they're extra brutal. They don't actually entertain the notion. They're just like, no, shut up. And so you have to always drag it all the way through the process and be like, all right, are you going to sue me from Japan? They're like, no. Okay. Can I have the video online now? We guess.
1 month later, you know?
Oh,
They're especially bad.
I've had to do that dance once. That's why I'm very reluctant to get into anime. You seem to have a bit more focus on, I guess, the term classic when you've covered if anyone, feel free to make fun of me for saying Trigun Slayers or Guyver's Classic. Do you find any more of the current animes lacking, or is it just your availability to America is why you just haven't touched anything more recent?
With Animerica, it's not necessarily... we do try to do like one classic anime that I guess I never thought of the word classic until you just used it, but yeah, classic anime that like everybody knows each season. Season 1... I believe in season 4 we're doing Evangelion. Ooh. The reason we choose the anime we do is mainly if we can produce interesting content with it. Like we have turned down, we would say, here's a weird or interesting anime, or maybe this is a really good one, or maybe this is one of those, like, let's watch this and see if we can make entertaining videos out of this. Like, 2 or 3 episodes. Will they be good? Will they be fun? And then we watch it. Answers yes. Okay, that's a script now. That's a 2-parter, 3-parter, whatever. Or because we have a different perspective to offer on it. Or like in the case of the Hibine Renmei review we did recently, a really in-depth review from a negative perspective because we were taking a position that we thought would be extremely controversial.
That's the one that got me to reach out to you, and I was deeply amused by that. I'm horrified if it's really that bad. So I do feel obligated.
It's just boring.
Oh, okay.
It's just boring. That was the main problem. Like Gilgamesh was the worst anime I've ever seen. Gilgamesh was the worst, but Hibine Renmei.
I haven't watched Gilgamesh. The moment he said that, I immediately started looking it up. The pictures look edgy as fuck, would be the way to describe it.
So much edge. It's just so gray the whole time, and everybody talks in like sullen, bored tones, and it's just gray and depressing, and there's no story, and then the ending is like a weird ripoff of End of Evangelion, and it makes no sense.
You can tell it's great when you look at the plot on Wikipedia and it has a section dedicated to the background and then everything else.
The background. Man, I wish I would have had that. Here's your study guide before you watch the show. No, Hibine Renmei was a show that, like, it's considered a classic. It's considered incredible. And when I originally bought it, I was extremely excited to watch it. And I bought it, and it showed up, and I immediately dropped everything I was doing and put it in my PS3. And I got about 5 episodes in, and I was like, I'm about to fall asleep. Which is about halfway through the show. I was like, this is so boring. Nothing has happened.
Is you ever like sat through it enough where like you don't realize it's boring at first? You're like, yeah, this should be good. You're just like half paying attention after a while, like, damn, there is nothing going on.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes, I gave it a lot of leeway because, reputation. And I was like, all right, cool. They've established everything now. Time to get into the meat of things. And then it's like, no, this episode is about garbage and clocks. No, this episode is about clothes shopping. No, it's like, what are you doing? Do you have a story you want to tell? Oh, hey, look, there's some guys wearing weird clothing. Aren't they mysterious? Sure, are you gonna like explain them? No.
That's the one where they're the angels, essentially, right? And they never go into anything about that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like to an insanely frustrating degree.
So, for anyone playing at home, this is done by the same guy who did Serial Experiment Lane. And I kind of get the feeling it was riding on the coattails of that just a bit.
Well, it's directed by the artistic director, the character designer, which is so weird for like to go from I did the art in this show to I'm going to direct an entire series. What? His art in Lane is amazing and really unique and striking. Like Lane comes off like a painting, like an abstract painting with moving parts because the art is just very unique. Like it's of that show and you can't really separate it. But then you have
iconic.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, iconic, exactly. And then you have Hibine Renmei where the characters look very similar, but there's no striking art. It's just not there. It's like, you should have done the art. Let Abe direct the show. You're terrible.
I have a bit of a controversial one here. Feel free to pass. What are your thoughts on Ghost in the Shell and the drama around the live action with the roles supposedly being whitewashed?
I got in an argument with this about. I basically solidified my opinion based on two things. I got in an argument with somebody who I read initially about it, that there was a controversy, and I was like. Ugh. And so then I read more on it, and I was like, okay. I found an article that was not an article. It was just like, here's what people in Japan are putting on Japanese Twitter. And it was just a bunch. It was like, oh, that's news. But it was just a bunch of people saying they didn't care. And I was like, okay, cool. They don't care. Good for them. They're just people. And then more recently, last week, there was an article released. I saw it on Kotaku, although I saw it on Kotaku, and it was some comments made by the creator of Ghost in the Shell, where he said he never envisioned that the Major would be played by a Japanese actress. And so I was like, especially not in an American movie. And I was talking to a friend of mine on Facebook who shared with me some original concept art for the Major, and she looks extremely European and has blue eyes. And so I was like, okay. So the idea is that maybe at some point she was a Japanese woman, but this is not her body anymore.
So it's much about nothing.
I think so. It's an extremely tenuous hot button topic right now. And so, oh my God, this movie is from Japan and there's a white actor cast in the main role. It's like, that's all. It's almost more ignorant than the objected practice. This is from Japan. It should have all Japanese people in it. And then a friend of mine made the brilliant point that Attack on Titan has a cast of characters that are like 99% European. But when the Japanese made their live action movie, every character was played by a Japanese person.
Yep.
They specifically go out of the way to state only Mikasa is Japanese. Everyone else is standard white Euro trash. Literally everyone else except Mikasa.
Yeah, which is funny. I don't care.
There is no right or wrong answer, sir. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I know. I don't think it affects. I don't think has an impact on anything one way or the other. I think the fact that there's a Ghost in the Shell live action movie that's being made will bring more eyes to the Ghost in the Shell anime, which will in turn have a trickle down effect and bring more eyes to anime in general, and that's only good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Is there any other, besides Habaneye, any other anime series was popular you don't entirely understand? Do keep in mind, I will be timestamping that answer.
Hetalia.
Oh, ow. Okay.
I think the show is extremely hit and miss in terms of whether I like the jokes or not. Like very feast and famine, love hate, and so when I found out that there was an extremely devoted, passionate fan base, I was like,
I just love it because I'm ADD and the episodes are 5 minutes long, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, that'll do it. That'll do it for you. Absolutely. I was at Animerica. We're going back to Animerica this weekend. It's going to be amazing. But we were there a couple years ago, and there was a troupe that did a play that was a play based on Hetalia, and that was hilarious. They all played the different country characters, and it was wonderful. It was like a panel. It was like a play performance. And that was amazing. Better than the episodes of Hetalia that I had watched up until that point. The ultimate fan base that I legitimately. This is not like a condescending. This is not an insult. This is my brain does not work this way. I cannot understand your hype. Is Gurren Lagann.
Uh-oh. I actually.
How can you hate Infinite Hype Machine?
You know, I've only ever seen Gurren Lagann through other people's reviews, but I know better than not to say that out loud.
So I just got done watching Kill la Kill recently, and I thought it was amazing. I thought it was the best anime of 2015. I think it was released here in 2015. So that's what I'm calling it, best anime of 2015, for me personally. Because it's very similar, especially in art style and narrative style, but it's funny. It has very shockingly intelligent themes going on. I was just really enthralled by it. Gurren Lagann just made me angry for at least half of the 30 episodes. At least half of it I wanted to throw it out the window. It
That's
made
a
me
fair point.
extremely angry.
So you'll be doing a thing on that eventually.
We're doing it on cover by cover. We're doing the first 2 episodes, which is kind of a thing where I'm not going to take out my full anger on it. We're gonna do our best to review it in season 4 of Animerica.
I will definitely keep an eye on your comment section when that happens. All right.
Because the people that love it are just over the moon, and I'm willing to concede that the show is okay because when I watch.
I'm sorry.
Because
Beautiful. I just imagine if you were at an anime club and sitting around a table and it gets to you. I just imagine someone like breaking off part of the table, gnashing their teeth at you. Okay.
I'm willing to concede that it's okay because half of the series was really fun the first time I watched it. Really fun and exhilarating and exciting. I tried to watch it again and I was just bored. I think it was largely the excitement of seeing it for the first time. And to me, now that Kill la Kill exists, it renders Gurren Lagann pointless.
Well, I'm told they have 2 different goals and mission statements for what they're trying to achieve.
That's the impression I got. Excuse me, there's a very clear message from each of them, at least that I got. And the message from Kill la Kill seemed to be a valuable life lesson, and to me, and the lesson from Gurren Lagann came off to me as insanely naive stupidity. And that's probably what frustrated me about it. Because right away, the biggest difference in Kill la Kill is that Ryuko has a goal. She has a specific thing she's trying to accomplish. She's driven, she's motivated, she knows what she wants to do, and no matter what it takes, she's going to do that thing. And from there on out, the entire show is about if you want to accomplish something, you need to not be afraid. You need to set aside everything and be willing to leave everything out there if you want to achieve your dreams and do what you want to do. You need to give everything of yourself in order to accomplish it. And that's an extremely inspiring message to me. And then there's Gurren Lagann, which is if you want something, you just have to want it bad enough, and then you'll get it.
You made it sound like you made it sound like Brian.
What's that?
I said you made it sound like Brian the dog from Family Guy. Want it, need it, have it.
Yeah, it's like, it's pretty much what it is. It's like if you want it, you'll get it. Like
Yeah,
it's
very
just
much that.
You just really have to want it hard enough. And if you didn't get it, it's because you didn't want it hard enough. And you suck. And I'm just like, and
I definitely got that vibe from it. Definitely.
and it's kind of like, to a degree, that message can underlie the message of Kill la Kill, but you can sit at home and want something all you want, and it's not going to happen.
Well,
it's silly when they're outgunned by 8 billion enemies, and they're like, I want to win! And the script is like, okay, you win. It's like...
That is every fight.
Every fight, exactly.
Especially in the second half, it was like, what are you guys doing?
People have told me that the last time I discussed it with someone who was a fan, and this was the 3rd time it happened, was when I told him why I didn't like the show, which I didn't go into detail because it's a longer conversation, but my specific problems with the show. It was the 3rd time I got this response. His response was, why can't you just shut your brain off and watch it and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, a movie that I have to shut my brain off to enjoy is not the best movie ever. It's not an amazing, incredible movie. Like, I just watched Now You See Me recently. That's a movie. Gotta shut your brain off. That movie's incredibly stupid. And just kind of go along for the ride and don't question it.
I know there's people far more versed in Gurren Lagann, and I couldn't possibly defend it because I haven't seen it myself. I'd be speaking from a place of ignorance, so I'll definitely take your word for it, and I encourage the people down in the comments below when this video goes to express yourself.
Destroy me.
Oh, no, I'll definitely. Yeah, your link will be at the very top of the description, sir.
It'll just be like, I'll be. When is this going up?
I usually have 2 to 3 weeks between podcasts, but I'm noticing. I feel this will be topical.
We'll be at ASEN, and all of a sudden my channel will just blow up with comments. You hate Gurren Lagann. I haven't made this a secret. I have commented on it several times in the past. I haven't made a secret that I don't understand.
Tell you what, the next two questions, or at least the first one here, is super safe, and the next one's a bit more controversial. Oh, what microphone and camera to use? I noticed that you have a fairly good audio, but your mic's not in the shot. Is it a boom mic or what?
It's a Blue Yeti.
Oh, just out of shot?
The USB mic.
Do you just use what do you use for camera?
For camera when we record, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a Sony camera. I don't know. It's a Sony HD cam, like a bigger prosumer grade camcorder that's all manual as well.
Well, that's fine. If you
it's the type of camera where it's like Sony and then a jumble of letters.
No, I've got a Canon like that. No, I absolutely understand. Okay, we'll get to the more controversial one here. Again, feel free to correct me because I'm filthy Westerner. Tenga? Is that the name? How it's pronounced?
Tengen Toppa.
Tengen Toppa. I'm gonna edit out the part where I ask you to correct me. Now I'm definitely leaving it in.
It's the review from season 1, you mean, right?
Yeah, no, I skimmed through to find questions. You took a bold stance on Japan's skeevy practices with some of its marketing with younger girls, now that girl being about 15. Japan has a habit with some of their age themes, where it seems to be how low can they go. Now, cultures being what they are and different, how culturally sensitive are you between the differences in the nations as far as like age goes? Now keep in mind, I'm not defending, condemning, or advocating anything. I'm just saying if you wanted to express your overall thoughts on Japan's teenage lolly leanings, what are your thoughts, basically? You can pass. Well,
before I say what I think, I will say that I recently found out that the CIA and the America, and I can't remember what the specific council, the Justice Department, that's what it is. The Justice Department has labeled Japan the child pornography trafficking capital of the world.
Oh my God. That is a wonderful title to have.
I am not shocked about that in the least.
Not at all.
No. And I'm more against the sexualization of children, as I've said before. It's more on a case by case. Tengen Toppa, I think at the time, the main problem is it only really matters to me once it gets here in the States. And that sounds really hypocritical, but things do work differently in Japan. Like
the term you might be looking for is not my show, not my problem.
No, not really. Here in the United States, we have like hours of the day that tend to be for certain programs, right? And those are defined that way by audience metrics. Like, this is during the day when this show gets the most views, so that's when it's going to go there. That's why you have soap operas in the late morning and early afternoon. That's when people watch them. I almost said housewives. I'm not sexist. In Japan, it's much more regulated on TV. It's this hour-long block is for a sign-in audience, i.e. like older teens, young adults. This is teens like high school, 14 to 17. This is a shonen block. This is for younger boys. This is they're not only are they gender segregated programming, but they're age segregated programming. This is our adult programming block. It's like 9 at night or something like that. Only shows targeted towards adults with a certain rating can play here. And so as a result of that type of release practices, you end up with shows that are heavily targeted, like a show like Tengen Toppa can air on a sign-in block and be heavily targeted towards teenagers. And so in the context of that, sexualizing a 15, 16-year-old girl, especially for them, might not be considered problematic. My only problem is once it gets over here, we don't have that same situation. So now it's just a show that anybody can buy where we have a teenager that's a sex object. It's like,
Well, I thought they had somewhat of an age restriction on there, depending how well Best Buy enforces that stuff.
They do. Japan's kind of a mess with isn't legal because, here it's like Japan has a national government, sure, but there's a lot more in Japan that they don't have states, but they have prefectures, and there's a lot more that we handle, our country handles on a federal level, that is left up to the prefectures of Japan. And age of consent laws are on a prefecture to prefecture basis. So that
has sort of changed. The age of consent laws while they are on a prefecture basis, there's now a national anti-abuse thing, which they relate to.
Yeah, I know that the national anti-abuse thing, which is helpful, but 13.
It's still a problem when they're like, by the way, we need to have this abuse thing because we can't trust the prefectures to come up with decent numbers.
Yeah, a little bit, because there is one prefecture where 13 is the legal age.
Jesus.
It's like an island, and they're like considered like not truly part of Japan, like by the locals. I mean, they're nutcases. They're like the Westboro Baptist fan.
Oh God.
We'll move on.
But I guess that's my opinion. I guess that's my opinion on it. Back then, I probably would not react as strong to that now, especially because like I just said, I just watched Kill la Kill, and I didn't have an extremely strong reaction to all the fan service in that show. But I would say that's because the fan service is allegorical and serves a purpose narratively. Maybe that's just me. Yeah, anyway.
Again, no wrong answer.
Sure.
Are there any influential names that leap out at you, like, say, Go Nagai or Miyazaki? Any big names as a director or writer that you're a fan of?
Yes.
I was about to say, if you didn't have an answer...
Satoshi Kon.
What was that again?
Satoshi Kon, number one. He's dead now, unfortunately. He passed away tragically young at the age of, 40 from pancreatic cancer, I believe it was.
Jeez,
it was cancer. I think
man.
40 years, that's even early by pro wrestling standards.
Yeah, exactly. It was a shocking national tragedy because when he was diagnosed very late. So he started degenerating very quickly. So he removed himself from the public eye, and so the last anybody saw him, he was healthy, and he hid the fact that he had cancer from the public. For the entirety of Japan, Satoshi Kon was just fine, and then one day he was just suddenly dead.
Wow.
Out of nowhere.
Any works of his that specifically leaped out at you?
Yes. Paranoia Agent is...
Oh my God.
Oh, you're
best.
A-okay, sir.
Paranoia Agent is... Paranoia Agent is one of the best series I've ever seen. It's incredible. Everything about it. I love the social commentary. How far... I've never seen an idea pushed as far as it was in Paranoia Agent. That was extremely, I guess, inspirational is a good word for it. It told the story in an unorthodox way, but it told it excellently. It's the only story I've seen where there was a swerve that derailed the plot completely halfway through the show, but it didn't matter because the story it was telling was strong enough to deal with it. Perfect Blue as well. Millennium Act. Basically everything he's made, I think, is some of the best ever. Perfect Blue and Millennium Actress, as far as anime movies go, are two of my all-time favorites.
All right, here's a personal question. What's your favorite drink?
Beer.
I was waiting to say too personal?
My favorite drink is strawberry lemonade, but
okay.
If you mean actual alcoholic drink, I'd take a Russian Imperial Stout.
Oh, nice. What do you feel was the personal hardest thing to learn when you got into YouTubing?
Dealing with the content ID system, and I mean that in the sense of that I have an extremely casual outlook on it now, and I'm in the Channel Awesome Skype chat, and there's a lot of people who are having problems with it, and it's driving them nuts, and for me, I guess I got used to it. I just decided, I accepted one day that things are getting better now because YouTube has passed new rules for how their dispute process is going to work, and it's been getting better for over a year now. There was a point where it was the reality of the situation was Blip is closing, or Blip is going to close very soon. I saw it coming about a year away. I was like, Blip is going to close very soon. YouTube is going to be your only real option, and this is the way it works. So if you're going to do this, you have to put up with it. Not like it, not say it's okay and endorse it, and but you kind of have to deal with it because this is the way it's going to be now. And that took a while, and that was very hard for me to deal with initially. But because I'm at a place now where I'm just another copyright notification, where I'm just kind of no, whatever, got to go deal with this now.
Well, the third parties aren't nearly that bad.
God. What?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said the third parties aren't nearly as bad as the copyright strikes. They're just inconvenient.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, and I say this sarcastically, of the critically acclaimed Erased series?
Erased?
Yes.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, no, I've noticed that a lot of the reviewers, analysts, and the critics have all kind of really had a hate boner for Erased. I was just like, oh, might as well ask your opinion while we're at
Is it a series? I haven't seen it. Is that a series that just came out?
Last season.
Yes, last season.
Is it on Crunchyroll or is it dubbed yet?
It's on Crunchyroll.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I don't spend enough time on Crunchyroll. That's my problem.
I feel you on that.
The problem is it's too much. This is the problem we have, is that there's too much anime. Because there's like I have friends who are like, you gotta watch this and you gotta watch this, and they're not bleeding edge titles, and I'll be like, all right, we'll watch this, and then it's like, and then there'll be a big blow up about a show like Attack on Titan or Sword Art Online, whether it's positive or negative, and I'll be like, okay, well that's all right stuff, and then I'll get another recommendation of some older stuff, and then another new show will blow up like Kill la Kill, and I'll be like, I'm pulled both ways, and I have to be very selective about which I choose. Like, I think the most current I ever watched an anime was Steins Gate, because I found out very shortly after it came out, when it was dubbed here, which it came out less than a year after it finished in Japan. And I got part 2 the day it released. A release date delivery from Amazon. That was like, between release and me finishing it, that was the closest ever. And it's really hard for me to go to Crunchyroll when I have so much else that by necessity has to be English dubbed for our show. It's a terrible conundrum. I did watch 2 episodes of Sword Art Online when they were on Crunchyroll, and that was horrible.
It's a tough one.
I'm sorry, I watched 1 episode. It was all I could handle. The show was too stupid before the 20-minute mark.
Since you segued to this, what's some animes out there you wish never existed?
Oh my gosh.
Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh.
I definitely have to at least peek at it now. You have piqued my interest.
It's immediate. Gilgamesh, anime I wish never existed. School Days.
I've heard.
Then I wouldn't have to get hassled to review it.
Wait. So, nice boat?
Yeah. That way, because I had been hassled to review it. It's like, you know what it is. It's just a bland, stupid, crappy show, and then there's the ending. It's like, why do I need to review this? It's just like masturbation. Like, oh man, he hates it too. Yeah. The hell?
Please confirm my opinion, senpai.
Yeah. Other anime I wish never existed. Code Geass R2, Franchise Destroyer.
I'm not sure what the hell that's about. I'm curious. Franchise Destroyer.
Code Geass R2 is a franchise destroyer.
Oh, okay.
Ruined the Eden of the East movie sequels.
Oh my god.
Tokyo Godfathers, which is a Satoshi Kon movie, but I hate it. And I wish that one didn't exist, because if it didn't, he would have been able to make his final movie before he died.
Oh, did he go on record and say what that was supposed to be?
It's a really, really schmaltzy, corny, like, Christmas movie, and the story doesn't resolve before it ends, and it's over the top in how contrived and cheesy it is. Like, there's a story there and interesting characters. There's interesting characters in it, because he's really good at writing characters, but the story is terrible. And it just, like, so many times it's like blown out of the water by Christmas miracles. And it's just like, by the end of the movie, it was one of the few movies I turned off angry, because the ending of the movie made me angry, because there was one character in particular, the whole movie, I wanted to see the resolution of her story, because it was the most interesting out of all of them. And then the ending of the movie was like, she goes face to face with her father again. It's like, oh, here it is. Credits. And I was angry.
Of all the videos you've worked on, what did you think was the most fun?
The most fun?
Yeah, working on it, putting it together.
That's a tough question. Hang on a second. The most fun.
We could flip the script. What was the one you wanted just to be over with? What was the biggest nightmare?
I could answer Scryed. The Scryed review was the most difficult one for me to write, produce, and write, film and edit and produce. That was a nightmare. Probably the most fun I had was on our cover-by-cover episode of Cromartie High School. It's between that one and Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, because for both of those we did really ridiculous like sketches for Cromartie High School. Co-host JT actually wrote and directed it, and he had us play like high school delinquents from Cromartie High School throughout the show. Was jumping back between us and these other versions of ourselves, and that was a lot of fun just because it was just us screwing around, ad-libbing stuff, and that was a lot of fun. But Nadia, the Secret of Blue Water, like the opening is us having to go on a quest because we played off of like the beginning of the show is just like this scroll, and it's like a voiceover reading it, and it's like he's like, if you want to find me, you must go on a quest, and we're just like, oh, come on. So
Is that neck brace legit? Because I haven't seen all your.
no, it's not really a neck brace. It's like a little like robot thing.
Oh, okay. No, okay. My mistake.
With ears coming out.
When I first saw it, I was like, oh crap, what happened?
Yeah, I can see. I like see it like once and think, oh my god, his neck is broken. No, he plays in season 3. JT plays a robot named Atlas.
Okay. Now I feel like a schmuck. I'll leave it in. No, I'll admit I'm an idiot. Are there any American animations you enjoy, or possibly if you had a chance to either include on your channel or maybe a different one, what would you cover?
American animations?
Or non-Japan then, if you couldn't think of it.
Sure. America, I would say Avatar was a lot of fun. Other than that, I can't remember too many. There's just not a lot of cartoon. Like when I was a kid, there were fun cartoons, but like they're not on anymore, and I don't go out of my way to go back and watch them for nostalgia value. I don't have the time.
Oh yeah, you always have to give up something as you grow older. It's fine.
So like I was able to devote the time to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that was really good up until the last episode. That was really good and a lot of fun. I'd recommend that one.
I take it you're an Uncle Iru fan.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, I have this set up a certain way. If you don't like the wording, I could change it. If you could steal one person's talent, what would it be and who would it be from? Or if you're too benevolent, what's something you wish you could improve on?
If I could steal someone's talent.
I love asking that one because I've had some really nice people just go right off the bat like they have a name ready. Oh yeah, I would take this person's talent and let them starve on the street.
I would steal Louis C.K.'s dry wit.
Great choice.
Wonderful.
Because I wouldn't necessarily do comedy that's like what he does, because I don't have the same life experience he does. But his very dry, like making nothing funny wit is really enviable, at least to me.
Well, I blew through everything, unless you guys could think of anything you'd like to ask.
Oh, I am so sorry. I'm not prepared.
No, you did fine. I usually like...
You didn't bring follow-up questions?
I had a couple more I was going to ask, but I was like, he kind of sort of already answered that one. I don't know. If you wanted to answer, how do you differ from your online persona? I thought it was explanatory, unless you wanted to spell it out more.
I guess it's just an exaggerated version of myself. I don't get that angry when...
Well, I know. I figured I'd have that on. I'd have that on.
I don't get...
People sometimes take a lot of critiques personally when you start crapping on their waifu or their favorite anime, and I was like, I always like to lead out with that if I have someone more controversial. How do you differ from, the most hated bastard on YouTube, apparently?
I think I just get like, I think people see that and think that, and like want to like, I think people see me getting as exaggeratedly heated as I do at certain points about anime, and they want to see if like they can get that out of me, and so I get harassed a lot by people who like are very intelligent. So I don't know why I don't know why their goal is they come off as intelligent, or they're just extremely trolly. One of the two. I can tell the difference sometimes, but not all the time. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a lot nicer. When I play Phoenix, I'm kind of a dick.
So you don't really smack your friend, gotcha.
No, I don't. Like, I mean, me and my friends like rib each other and stuff, but Phoenix was always kind of a dick after Foxcatcher disappeared. So like, and I've kept that part of his character around intentionally for that reason. That would be probably the biggest difference, is that I'm not just a dick to everybody.
All right, well, I definitely have more than enough when I have to go back through, edit it for all this, and I might have a couple podcasts ahead of it, so I'll try and get this up in about like 3 to 4 weeks if that's okay.
Sure.
All right, I'll keep you in the loop. I had a great time.